in African Restaurant. Today we're going to be doing another DPA video, Defense Politic Asia. Without wasting time, let's dive right back into it. A little bit late because I have a lot of videos I have to post that I've done but I've not posted but I'm going to get on it. Thank you.
544 to 545 for the 21st to 22nd of August. So some conclusion. The fact that the Russian forces managed to detect and attack, I wouldn't say sink, because there's actually no indication, even in the video footage that was released by the Russian Defense Ministry, I actually did not see the sinking of any of these speedboats. So they may not have successfully sunk all these boats. May not. It is only on the Russian statement that said that they did. So, however, this indeed shows that the Ukrainians have the capability now to at least take over certain oil rigs that would disrupt Russian oil production over in the region around Crimea. And this also indicates that the Ukrainian forces could one day launch a massive amphibious assault on Crimea. However, it would be extremely difficult and it would be extremely pointless. I would say that a more plausible thing for the Ukrainians to do is actually land on the southern part of Kherson region instead of going for Crimea, because that's a bit too deep. The reinforcement cannot reach there. By landing around the Zelizny port and whatnot, they can actually fan out and hit the rear of the Russian forces. That will actually stretch the Russian forces. I think that would actually work pretty well for the Ukrainians, and that would be something that I will be expecting rather than an attack directly on Crimea. I think that will just be folly, because then you will see the Black Sea Fleet entering into this area here, securing the waters around here, and there's no more reinforcement, resupply, and the entire force will be wiped out. So I don't think that is the case. The fighting around the Kherson region is kind of pointless to talk about. The Ukrainians continue all these amphibious operations, setting up observation posts around all these islands. So I personally do not think much about all these operations around here, because unless there's something big going to happen, all this is just going to be just skirmishes. The Ukrainian forces continue their operation over at Robotine. Then as they continue to push in multiple directions, I think this one is clearer. And this operations with this report by Surya Maps talking about the Russian counterattack does seems a little bit interesting, but I won't put too much weight on that. Tentatively and definitely, I don't think the Russians have lost this trench line just yet. But there is indeed a lot of footages coming out from Robotine, and some of them are quite spectacular. The fighting is not the kind of like massive tank battles with thousands of troops facing each other. It's not. It's all small squads battles. So for those that are interested, do go and check it out. Some of these Robotine footages, you will find that the battles, modern warfare, is all small squads. So at most 20-30 people. A bit like the multiplayer games on the first-person shooter on Battlefield or Call of Duty. It's not the kind of a massive World War II style battle that is happening around here. As for this Nesteryanka Kopani attack reported by Marashinikov, I would say just take it with a pinch of salt. I don't think it is something to be talking about. I don't think it's meaningful. And over at the Velikanovo-Selka sector, this is also, I think, the most interesting thing that among the reports is this Rybas mapping to show that the Russian lines is just off Uruzhaine. It's not along the river, which is kind of a culture shock to me. Not culture shock, but kind of a factual shock to me, because we have been reporting that the Ukrainian forces have taken the entire area here, and they are already putting pressure on the Russians at Zvenye Bazania. So apparently the Ukrainians have not even tasted or even smelled the lasagna yet. Everything is still very erotic around here, so yeah, I just thought that's interesting. We shall continue to monitor how this goes, because this amount of gray zone around this area here is a bit unsettling. And yeah, we shall see, because if the Russians can continue to hold this position, it could theoretically possible for the Russian forces to do a counterattack against the Ukrainian forces. And yeah, that would not be very convenient or nice for the Ukrainian forces. And the Russians continue to do all these bombardments around all these areas here, does make life really difficult for the Ukrainian side. We shall continue to monitor how this battle will unfold. And what else is important? Let me see. Fighting in this region is very routine. Klishchiivka. The latest suggestion is that the Ukrainian forces re-entered Klishchiivka according to Deep State UA. We shall see how this goes. I have not much things to really talk about that. Ukrainians also going for Andriivka. Yeah, I mean, this is part of the Ukrainian Bakhmut offensive. I just find this is more interesting, the attempt to penetrate into Bakhmut itself. But yeah, the Ukrainians definitely, they are still ongoing. Their offensive is still ongoing. Crimea, nothing much to really talk about. Nothing much to talk about in Svatove. In terms of Kupiansk, the usual, the Russians continuing their offensive towards Kupiansk in Sinkivka and Vyshana region. They still have not captured Sinkivka, so yeah, there isn't really much of a change in terms of the strategic situation. And for Surovikin suspension, yeah, I think he's just like Prigozhin. He's just very popular, and a lot of good things has been credited to him. And I have no doubt he is a pretty good general. So, but dismissal of him, does it really affect Russian operations? I'm really not too sure. Because Russia is a really big place. They have a lot of people. There might be hidden talents within the generals that is now currently commanding the forces on the ground, which we do not know of. So who knows? The Russians indeed have a lot of very good candidates that can replace Surovikin. The main problem with the Surovikin issue is that, like I mentioned earlier in the SITREP, he might have insider information about what Prigozhin is planning to do, and that might be the reason why he got involved into getting arrested by the Russian Defense Ministry. I think that is probably why he was arrested, because if you know that there's a coup going to happen, a mutiny going to happen, you should be reporting to the defense minister, to your supreme commander, or to which they have to do something to stop it or something. But the fact that he only later did a video to just try to tell Prigozhin not to do it. I'm not sure. There must be some insider story to this, or who knows? It could be just an excuse or reason, because you have to understand the Wagner forces is pulled out after capturing Bakhmut, and they were sent to the rear to rest, regroup, rearm, and there was plans for the Wagner forces, but the plan doesn't seem to be in Ukraine. And as you can see in the latest video, Prigozhin is now in Africa. So for a person who is allegedly conducting a mutiny, still have so much freedom to fly around is a pretty amazing thing to witness, to be honest. Who knows, Surovikin might be caught to do something even more important than the special military operation, because the special military operation to the Russians is a foregone conclusion. They are just going through the motion, waiting for the Ukrainians to grind themselves out, to exhaust themselves, and then they will claim the victory. That's how the Russians look at it. I'm not saying that this will be the case. I'm just saying that this is how the Russians look at it. So it could be a case where they are taking out Surovikin, who has proven himself, I believe, in Syria. I think he might be tasked with a new job. Maybe something to do with Africa. Maybe something to do with Niger. So maybe it could be that case. I'm just speculating, because the Surovikin is one of those talents. So people all the pro-Russians are so excited about the Surovikin line. This is the Surovikin line. So excited about it. So there must be a certain level of talent to him, and he looks like a very straightforward person. So I don't think Putin will take him out. Maybe ask him to hate something pretty important that his talent is not needed over in Ukraine. That is just my speculation. But the Ukrainians, if you just look at the icons on this map, it's just full of blues. The Ukrainians are still very active. The Ukrainian offensive is still ongoing. Any claims that it's not, I don't think it's accurate. And with all this naval battle, more like an airstrike on naval vessels, indeed put a new dimension into this Ukraine war. Anyway, thank you for watching.